Now you say the Most High gave His word to everybody, right?
That bond is you living out right now. That bond is why you at the bus stop right now.
You understand? The scripture says, any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. They think the law is a small thing. Separate, man. We are separate from these other nations, man. That's right.
First breath I took, a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might, with every sentence reveal. I won't pay back, fuck a dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my foes in memory of Emmett Till. I only live to do my master's will. It's UPK, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. Gone astray but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Armed and tape, it was made for our sakes. March like a tank, one step will make the ground shake. My people sick in they head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell at them crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I want payback for the scars in the slave memoirs. Till Christ arrive, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will that's before your eyes. It's life or death, nigga, you decide. This heaven was made for me and my fellow. I patiently wait with my eyes on the sparrow, and I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Before I ever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want out this wicked life like Romello. By any means, this devil pulling strings like Geppetto. Lay hold on this brotherhood, I swear I never let go. And fuck that silver spoon, got too much love for the ghetto. Till the score settle, if need be, I die for the cause. Just to hear them angels applaud. And I'm true by every word I say, cause I know my victory on the way. You want it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. I'm about to go hard and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? Cause it's real, I be walking with them angels, boy, I can't be touched. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. I'm about to go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? Cause it's real, I be walking with them angels, boy, I can't be touched. Can't do in the clutch. They hate but they can't doubt us. We princes of the power, what you know about us? Evil all around us, but a nigga straight, I told you I can't be touched. Holy angels walk at my pace. And I'm grateful for the words that had me delivered. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my next. One West, what I die for. Attire out the book of Numbers, this rifle from the Archangel Michael. My niggas rebels, you can't deny them. It's 144, I be running to and fro with the Allah higher. My UPK soldiers ain't no folding or pretending. We in it for them crowns, fuck friends, we want dominion. In the election ascension, up. I'm about to go hard and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels, boy, I can't be touched. It's hard, but I can't give up. I'm about to go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels, boy, I can't be touched.
There we go. Salaki Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatam. Yahweh Shemal Alatan Ba'Hashem. Yahweh Shah. We are the ISUPK. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, way back in 1969. And today, under Commandant General Yohanan, we go throughout the entire earth teaching the truth of the Bible. And the truth of the Bible is real simple. Your so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American Indians are in fact part of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why are they called lost? Because they don't know who they are. You see that? These folks are called everything on the face of the earth just about. They got all types of names for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and they don't know who they are. And so what we do in the ISUPK is we teach Israel who she is, and we open their eyes. Also, we reveal to you and to the world the white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's right. The white man's the devil that the Bible speaks of. And here's why. Devil only means deceitful. Deceit. Now, who's the most deceitful entity on the face of the earth, if not those who are in power of the earth right now? When you look at this government, they made, I think it was 177 treaties with the North American Indians, and they kept, to this date, 0. They saw the people were cold, and they gave them blankets with smallpox in them. See that? They knew these people were kind of pure when it comes to things like alcohol. Well, they give them alcohol, fire water. You see that? Took their children away. Who has been the most deceptive nation on the face of this earth? Let's see that. Let's see what we got here. Make sure everything got right. Okay, Khan. Who's been the most deceptive nation on the face of this earth? But you know, they are not, we just have to go through that because there's some sensitive folks out there. When we say the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, it's like we step on a lot of toes, and all we do is state a fact. The Bible says he's deceptive. He's deceitful. That's what the Bible speaks of. What nation on the face of the earth has deceived the whole earth, caused the whole earth to shake in its boots? But I digress. Today is Monday, so we're gonna walk down this history a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to walk down this history a little bit, and this is what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you to get out of your damn emotions, all right? And just walk with a brother, all right? I already know what I'm up against. I'm up against you Christian taught folk, all right? I'm up against you Christian taught folk. Now, what I'm going to do, so you can be clear and you can understand where all of this is coming from, we're only going to use the Bible today. We're going to use the Bible in this history class today. In these history, and watch this, in using the Bible, we're going to show you how you can discover whether or not you are part of the lost children of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And why we want to use the Bible? Because I know it's a ton of you Christians out there listening, and I appreciate you. It's a ton of Christians out there listening, and I appreciate you. You need to hear this. You need to hear this, right? You, how can I put this, are where you are because of your history. What I'm saying, so-called black man, what am I saying, so-called black woman, Mexican, Native American, my Guatemalans and Panamanian brothers and sisters, what am I saying? You are in the condition that you are in on this earth as a nation because of your disobedience to the Most High. Now, I want you to, right now, it's all right to consider yourself as a Panamanian, as a Puerto Rican, as a Negro, as an African American, as an Afro American. I don't know what they call the brothers over in England. When somebody hit me up, text me, message me, or messenger me, or something, what do they call the brothers and sisters in England? We call them brothers and sisters, you see. But what are their nationality in England? You see. Are they also a hairstyle? That's interesting. But, and you know that we've been called everything, and our other brothers, Puerto Ricans, Chileans, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Seminole Indians, Cubans, Mexicans, all these people, okay, been called all these names, okay, and they all exist on this earth. Don't forget our brothers down in Brazil, and they all exist in this earth today in a state of hell. You think I'm lying? Look at the southern borders of America. Why the hell are our brothers and sisters tearing them borders down? Because it's hell back at home. Why is it hell back at home? Because the Edomites from Europe ran all that down there too. Just a different set of Edomites. And they pursued their natural course, and that meant putting the children of Israel through the ringer. Now, the only way we can use the Bible is if somewhere in the Bible that what we see our people living in today is already spoken about in the Bible. When you look at your black neighborhood, when you look at your hood, and I'm not talking about those few mixed neighborhood of upper middle class folk that the man. I'm talking about the hood. And a bunch of y'all are making y'all way back to the hood anyway, because they show them the people that run this country are show making it more expensive and tougher for you to live out there, which is good. Which is good. You ain't got no business out there with the Edomites anyway. You understand? They're forcing you back. But when you look at, and this is, I'm going to use this as an all-inclusive way of saying this. When you look at the plight of black people, when you look at the plight of so-called Mexican people, so-called Native American people, you watch this, in relationship to their existence alongside of Caucasians, of Edomites, America has a deplorable human rights record. We all agree. And guess what? Nobody in the earth has come to call America to the carpet. Nobody's pointing fingers at America per se. Even when the North Vietnamese was pointing its finger in the 60s at America, it was doing so hypocritically, because they was in a fight with America, and like any other power, they just want to use us for their strength to gain what they wanted. You see, every other nation on the face of the earth cannot say much to America lest they be hypocritical, for they've done it to some people. You know, Japanese did it to the Koreans. That's a shaky relationship over there now. Turned them Korean women into geisha girls, you know. They prostituted them out. And Koreans have not forgotten that. But nobody has been done by any other people than the way you've been done, Israel, by Jacob, by these Edomites who run the world. Now, let me prove who you are. First of all, I'll present to you that we consistently bring you the teachings found in that book called the Bible. We bring that to you consistently every day. Literally 24/7. You can turn on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know what else is out there, but you can turn it on and find a message somewhere from the ISUPK from this Bible. From this Bible. And our history lesson is based in the Bible today. Now, I know how you respond to the Bible now that you've been Christians for 400 years. I know how you respond to the scrolls, to our records. But my question is that how you should respond? Right? That's the question. When you read these scriptures, when you run across my brothers out here teaching these scriptures, or you run across them on the internet teaching these scriptures, how should you respond to hearing the truth of the scriptures? Nope, we're not going to concentrate on how you respond. We're not going to concentrate on how, by teaching the scriptures, we've been denoted or been labeled as a hate group. By teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to love one another as they love themselves, we've been determined by a ethnic organization, the Southern Poverty Christian, whatever that is thing down there, to be a hate group. Because we teach blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, so-called that is, to love themselves, to love each other as they love themselves. We teach them brotherhood. We teach them the words of the Most High. We teach them the scriptures. And now that the airways are open, to where I can sit here in Michigan and speak to folk in Korea, Anyaseo, can speak to folk in Korea, black men and women down there in Second Market in Tongduchan's Second Market. You see, and I can speak to them and let them know you are Israelites, and the Most High has not forgotten about you either. If you can get a hold to a Bible, study us online. Study us online. I'm talking to all those black babies that was left over in Korea by black soldiers. I don't care what your country say about you. You are an Israelite. You are an Israelite of the tribe. Many of you are of the tribe of Judah. Some going to be of the tribe of Issachar. You see that? You are Israelites, and you are not forgotten. Even over there, like I say, in Second Market, Tongduchang, Korea. You see what I'm saying? You know, all those so-called Amer-Asians with this skin darker than mine. You an Israelite. So this falls for you too. Now, the questions still go back to, how should we respond when we read these scriptures? And is there an example of how an Israelite should respond when they read these records? I dare say there is. So let's go to 2 Kings. I think we're going to go to the 22nd chapter. Let's see what we got here around verse 10. All right. We got a situation here, a little backstory. Our records have been lost for a while. And in this portion of the history, Israel's records have been lost for a while. But they formed themselves back into a country. They got a king, and the people living simply the way they live it. And in doing what they're doing, I believe they were going through the temple, getting ready to put things back together, rebuild the temple and stuff like that. Shaphan, this is verse 10. Salakia. Okay. No problem. Here we go. This is 2 Kings 22, verse 10. Now watch closely. And Shaphan, the scribe, showed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath delivered me a book. This is the book of the law. This is the scribe. He said the priest delivered to him the book of the law. And Shaphan read it before the king. The king, well, I'm going to just keep reading. But get that now. Ain't nobody seen the Bible. Ain't nobody seen the law. You know what I'm saying? They haven't seen the scrolls. It's been a while. And then the priest run across it. He knows what it is. He said, take this to the king and read it to him. So they get it to the scribe, and the scribe reads the book of the law to the king. All right? Let's see what happens next. And it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the book of the law. Are you listening? That he rent his clothes. He tore his clothes. He was afraid. He was ashamed because he now knew what the Most High required of all of Israel. But he had the knowledge of what the hell Israel was doing with itself. Let's keep reading. And so what? He rent his clothes to show his shame, to show his disgust for what he knew to be true, to show his fear of the Most High. He tore his clothes. He was that disgusted, that much in anguish. Verse 12, and the king commanded Hilkiah the priest and Ahikam the son of Shaphan and Akbor the son of Micaiah and Shaphan the scribe and Asahiah, a servant of the king, saying, this is what he ordered all them people to do. Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me, and for the people, and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us. Not that might be kindled. He said that is kindled against us. What is kindled? Great is the wrath. The king looked down. He heard the book being read, and he studied on what was being read. And he concluded that the Most High is extremely angry with Israel. In fact, looking at what Israel is doing as a nation, the Most High must be extremely angry with Israel. Let's read that again. Go ye. This is what he tell all these folks to do. And who told him this? The king. Not the priest. Not the scribe. Not some little girl who happened to know about a prophet, but the king himself. It's over all of Israel. Commanded Hilkiah the priest and all these other folks, verse 13, go ye, inquire of the Lord for me and for the people and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that is found. For great, his conclusion was, great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us. Why? Because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according unto all which is written concerning us. Okay. This is exactly how the so-called leaders of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans should be responding to the ISUPK bringing the Bible to the people today. They should rent their goddamn clothes. Salakia. But they should rent their damn clothes, bow their head, repent, and turn the running of this nation over to Commanding General Yohana. That is the only logical response to hearing the truth of the Bible. That's how you should have responded. But you haven't. Why? Because you're Christians. And no matter what anybody else say, you rather believe a lie than to believe the truth. So, we're going to present you with some empirical evidence from the Bible. Okay? So go with me to Deuteronomy 28. Y'all know that was coming. Deuteronomy 28. Now, before we get to that, let me show you a few other things. All right. See how I want to do this. Let's start right here. That's right. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 27 and 1 first. Okay. Because we want to establish who's being spoken to here in the Bible. And that's sit down, Christians. Sit down and listen. And see if you can be quiet long enough to hear what the Bible has to say. This is Deuteronomy 27, verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I have commanded you this day. This is Moses, along with the elders of Israel, told the entire nation of Israel, keep all the commandments which I have commanded you this day. Keep all the commandments. Now, guess what? They didn't do that. We're not going to get off into the deep with that, but you're supposed to keep all the commandments, and they didn't do that. All right? Let's go to the next one, Deuteronomy 28 and 1. This is an if-then statement. This is totally a contingent statement. One thing is contingent upon something specifically happening. Another thing is contingent upon that very same something not happening. Watch what I say. Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently. There is your contingent statement. If you pay attention to, listen to very closely the voice of the Lord thy God, how do you show that you've been doing this? To observe and to do all his commandments. This is the same one. This is the same one we just already took a look at someplace else. All the commandments, not a few, not the ones you like, not the ones that make you feel good, not the ones that make you look good in front of your woman, but the ones that make you look bad in front of your woman, you're gonna fight back against them. Nope, that's not what. All the commandments. You must keep all the commandments. And it shall come to pass. When it says shall come to pass, that means you can put it in the bank. You can set the clock by it. You can bet your bottom dollar that this thing is going to happen. If you find it in the Bible, in the scriptures, and it says it's going to happen, you can bet your bottom dollar that nothing can stop it. And it shall come to pass if, there is your condition setter right there. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command you this day. Okay, with an if statement, it's not just an if statement. It's called an if-then statement. It sets a condition. If you do this, then it sets a reward or fulfillment. Then this shall happen. Watch. We just read, if thou shalt hearken. We read all that, right? To observe and to do, we read all that. What's the then statement? Which I command thee this day. The then statement is this: that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now, guess what? Had Israel done that, the Most High would have done that. How do you know? Well, because Israel didn't do that. And let's see if there was consequences for not doing it. Or was it just passive? In other words, you're not going to get promoted if you don't do this. Or was there some type of consequences? All right? Let us see if there's some type, because you got to think, he said, if you do this thing, then this great thing is going to happen to you. Okay? But guess what? You didn't do it. Israel did not do it. So let's take a look at what's going to happen if they don't do it. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken. Here we go again. We got the statement, if. The condition is set, is being set. If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and the statutes which I command thee this day. Okay? Now, if you don't do it, see, this is not going to be some passive thing that you just won't get promoted. But if you don't do it, there are direct consequences for not keeping the law, statute, commandments. And this is what it says, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And overtake thee. Okay. And people don't like to study this because it's only one logical way to study it. Read what the scriptures say and ask yourself if there's anybody on the face of the earth suffering in this manner, or has at any point in any people's history has this thing happened to them. Okay? Happened to them. All right? Now, let's jump down to Deuteronomy 28 and 45. And the reason I want to do that, right? The reason I want to do that is because I want to go with a scripture in here that's appropriate for right now. Like I said, we're using only the Bible, right? I want you to listen to something. This is something you need to know. And open your ears, Christian. Let me see if this is it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 45. 45. I was in the right spot. Deuteronomy 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. You already heard about back in 28:15. So if you don't keep the law, statute, commandment, most high, the curses are going to come upon you. Now, here's some reiteration going on. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee. Same words you heard back up there in Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Till thou be destroyed. What does that mean, to be destroyed? You can't govern yourselves. You don't have your own government. You don't even know who you are. Israel, you don't even know who you are. You're destroyed. You're the only people on the face of the earth that's called everything except for your God-given name, Yasharallah. Israel, Prince of the Power. You see that? That's who you are. You are Yasharala. You are the prince of the power. That's who you are as a nation. But it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because, listen to this, because, here's that connection again, if then this shall happen to you, because all this crazy stuff I just talked about, here's the reason it's going to happen to you. Thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord. That same reason, back up in Deuteronomy 28 and 15. For the same reason. What do you think is the voice of the Lord thy God? It's the Bible, numbskull. It's the Bible. It's the entire Bible. God loves everybody. He said to Israel, Israel, if you don't hearken unto me, I'm going to spank that behind. Terribly. Terribly. Okay? But wait. These curses are here for more than you being punished. You see that? These curses are here for more than you being punished. Let's keep reading. And overtake thee till thou be destroyed. How are you destroyed? You don't know that you're Israel. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. That's the only reason the Most High will treat you like this. When you refuse, when we refuse, he treats us like this when we refuse to keep his statutes and his commandments. And the curses shall be upon thee. Here's the additional reason for the curses. It's not just punishment, but verse 46 says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. The other nations will look, they're going to be like, wow, why can't they get mad? What's wrong with them Negroes, them niggas? Good Lord. They don't even know who they are. A wonder. And for a sign to let you know that you are Israel. That's the only sign. It says for a sign. To let you know you are Israel. So, this is why it's necessary that we go back and study and look at these curses, right, and see who they apply to, because according to the Bible, Deuteronomy 28 and 46, the curses themselves shall be a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. In other words, when our forefathers died out, don't worry. The curses was going to follow their dumbass children and grandchildren and great-grand, all the way down to us today and our children and grandchildren. You're not going to get rid of them except by one way. That's by obeying the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Why are you cursed? Because you disobey the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. How do you know you are the one? How do you know so-called black man, black woman, so-called Mexican man and woman, so-called Native American man and woman? How do you know that you are Israelites? Well, if you go according to this scripture here, only the Israelites would be suffering from these curses as a whole. Now, you can find an outlier anywhere to try to stick in there and say, see, it don't mean that. No, the Israelites. Let me show you something real quick. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 2. Matter of fact, let me go up a little bit. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. That's right, black man and woman. That's right, Mexican man and woman. Y'all came out of Egypt. He brought us out of Egypt. Native American man and woman, he brought us out of Egypt. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. So quit listening to people saying that God loves everybody. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, since I only know you, I will punish you for all your iniquities. These curses are his pronounced punishments to us. And based on our response to it, it stays self-perpetuating. We mess up, we get punished. We mess up, we stay in hell. We disobey, we stay in hell. Our only hope is to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, the question is, black man and woman, Native American man and woman, and I'm talking about the true one, not the identity stealers. Mexican man and woman. We're going to go back and look at the different curses particularly. We're going to ask ourselves, name a people to whom this can be applied to today. Today. And we include every people on the face of the earth. Okay? Today. So let's go back to Deuteronomy. Because right now, we've learned that the Most High gave us laws, statutes, commandments that he instructed us that we must keep. He warned us that if we did not keep them, we will come under a very ugly form of punishment called the curses. Also, he told us that the very same curses, well, he told these people, these Israelites, these very same curses would identify them in the latter days. In the end times, these very curses would be how you can identify this people called Israel. So now, let's look at the curses, see who they fit today, and whoever they fit, we're going to call them Israel. And if they don't fit you, and you happen to call yourself Israel, we shall call you an imposter. You see, a blasphemer. You see. And if they do fit you and you reject, even though you sit down here logically looked at it, you already know before we go here and look at the curses that the Bible says the curses shall identify Israel in the last days. You'll be able to find Israel, you just have to find the people who suffer from these curses. As a people, let's look at the Jewish man as a people, Jewish, them folk. Of course, they're over there in Palestine fighting against the Palestinians and beefing with those nations over there. But are they suffering as designed in, as laid out by the Most High in Deuteronomy 28, beginning at verse 15 and 16? Are they suffering in that manner? Are they without their name because someone else stole their name from them and forced them to be without their name? The answer is no, which means they have not been destroyed. If you are a people and you don't know who you are, you don't know your origins, you don't know where you was founded from, you are destroyed. You have nothing to build upon. That's a destroyed people. You don't know where you come from, so you don't know who you are. And what do you spend most of your time doing? Imitating somebody else. Imitating somebody else because you have nothing of your damn own. You do understand that, right? That's why the idea of beauty in America among the sisters is dictated by homosexual men. Yeah, go look it up. The Ruth Pauls of the world tell fashion models how to dress and what they should wear and all of this. You see that? So the Jewish man is automatically excluded from being a part of these prophecies, if I may, from Deuteronomy 28 and 15. If this, then that. All the way through. He's out. Why? Because he controls Hollywood. In fact, he has enough wealth and power that if he wanted to pick up today and leave the Middle East, he could. He stays there out of spite. He stays there to protect his lie of being a Jew. He simply is protecting the lie. They come from the Caucasus Mountains, Georgia, up that way. Look up the book, The 13th Tribe, written by this Jewish guy. Look it up. Read that book. Excellent book. Tells you exactly where those people come from and how they got there. So he has to be disqualified as being the people in Deuteronomy because the Jewish man is not suffering any of these curses. Jewish man, nobody's taking away his child so he can't enjoy his own children. Nobody's enticed his wife away from him. Nobody's placed him for 400 years in fetters of chain. Iron feathers around their neck and ankles. Nobody's done that to them. For a few minutes of the history of man, they went into a very dire situation in Germany, and 6 million of them were killed. And y'all want me to be moved. I'm not moved. 77 million Native Americans are dead as a result of the European coming to this country. As a result of Esau coming to this country. And that's just as a result of establishing the country. We ain't talking about since then. We ain't talking about how many millions of abortions were performed. 40 million abortions performed by black women since Roe versus Wade became law for that first time, until the day it was repealed, overturned. $40 million. We only 47 million strong now. That's our entire population. You see that? That's our entire population could have doubled had we followed these laws, statutes, commandments just in my lifetime. Just in my lifetime. So let's take a look at these curses. Let's take a look at them. Because whoever these curses affect, these are the children of Israel. We see it here in Amos. Again, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. That punishment is these curses. Basically, you sin, this is what happened to you. And it's not like the Most High is forcing them down. This is what sin brings. All right, let's go up some. Let me ask this question. Who is the last hired and first fired on almost every job? No, let me back up. I got ahead of myself. On these streets, on a daily basis, of all the people that walk the streets, who's most likely to die a violent death? Young African American male between the ages of 15 and 30. Might go between 15 and 35. Young African American so-called men. Young Chicano so-called men. And now they're killing our women too. Ask Sandra Bland. You see that? Now they're killing our women too. So, here we go. Verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city. How we cursed in the city? To be here. It's full of pollution is one thing. It's full of violence. It's full of poverty. Our neighborhoods are called food deserts. Do you know that? Our neighborhoods are called food deserts because we don't have within 1 square mile of our area major grocery chains. Major grocery chains. Food deserts. And we need to, with that being in mind, we need to start growing our own food, Israel. Cursed shalt thou be in the city. We had shot down the police. They love to catch one of us alone here in the city. Especially if you're emotional. They almost guaranteed to kill you then. And cursed shalt thou be in the field. The field is where you work. The field denotes where you work. Since we used to be an agrarian society, the field represents where we put our work in. Now I ask you, who's still the last hired and the first fired? I don't care what job you got. You know Sally or Bob over there can do the damnedest shit. And still keep their job, but if you do a quarter of that shit, you out the door with an escort. And damn near a PPO saying if you come back near the property, you're going to get arrested. They ain't going to hold you up, black man or woman. See that? Cursed shalt thou be in the city. Cursed shalt thou be in the field. At your work. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. What you bring in and what you save. What your savings look like today, black man, as a whole? What's your net worth today, right now? Minus what? So-called Mexican man, so-called Native American man. Are the majority of you with six-digit net worth? No. The majority of you more like a 4 to 5 digit negative or net loss. You see that? But what people like, they got the bad credit, everything. Let me keep reading. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thine kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed. Your kids gonna be cursed. What you try to do with the land and build that way gonna be cursed. Your livestock, you try to build that way, it's gonna be cursed. You're gonna catch hell. How many black farmers we got today? How many Native American farmers we got today making a go of it? How many Mexican farmers that we got today making a go of it in America? Not that many. Not that many. Verse 18, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Verse 19, cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Whether you going to it or coming from it. Whether you're going into the fray or coming out of the fray. Whether you got to go out here into the world to make that money, or whether you're coming out of the world physically to try to get some peace. He said, cursed. Either way, you're going to be. 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke. Salakia. Shalom, Yahweh Shem HaShabbat. Khan, you at the school? Okay. Meet me at the school. Meet me at the Khan. Shalom, Lord. Shalom, Yahweh Shem HaShabbat. Curse. He said, and the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexations, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Cursing, vexation, and rebuke. So what? You built Black Wall Street. 40 years after slavery, we was doing it, and it got all destroyed. Why? Because we had our back. We was going after the money. We had American morals, but we didn't have the morals of the scriptures. And so therefore, Black Wall Street got bombed. The move people got bombed. Black churches got bombed. And even today, black churches get shot up on Bible study night. Why? Because we are steady doing the same thing our forefathers did. Just because you don't see or hear a voice from the heavens saying, I'm messing y'all up because of this. Y'all won't believe. Y'all need some Hollywood shit. But it's not coming like that. You're just going to be pursued and destroyed. You're steady going to keep being killed in the streets. Your neighborhood's still going to look like Ukraine after invasion by Russia. The stranger among you. Look in your neighborhood now. Why don't you own any businesses in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? I'm talking about corner anchor businesses in your neighborhood. You know, the one candy shop the kids go to, the one little half pint grocery store you shop at. When you don't go to Save-A-Lot, when you don't go to Kroger, when you don't go to Myers, when you don't have time to go all the way across town. That one little grocery store? That one little candy shop? Are you the barber with an active clientele? No, you're none of that in your neighborhood. You're none of that. In your neighborhood, you don't own the liquor store, you don't own the gas station, you don't own, that's hell. You go to work at least 8 hours every day. Slave. First they hit you with these damn taxes. Then what little money you get, guess what? Your home is rented. And you got to give it to whoever those people are that own your neighborhood because you don't own it. In your neighborhood, whose neighborhood, tell me whose neighborhood is it where the people that live in the neighborhood don't own any of the businesses? But people who are foreign to them own all the businesses. And the people in that neighborhood who live like that, where in your own neighborhood where you live, you have to go to a foreign nation to make ends meet at the end of your paycheck. Because you run out of paycheck before you run out of week. Who has that happened to? Let's skip down. Find some more. How about this? And verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. You know what's interesting? Is the number of years between so-called Black Power movements. And you know why that is? You know why that is? It's because every time one came out, say they came out with, what's his name? The fella that wanted us to go back to Africa with the star line. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Put it in the chat for me. Marcus Garvey, that's it, that's right. Marcus Garvey came out and he shot his shot. He was like a Marcus Garvey shot his shot. He had millions of folks follow him at one time. But when they came back at Marcus Garvey, he landed penniless in England or Jamaica somewhere. And I've heard even his homeboy say, good that he died that way. Crazy. You come out against him one way, you're going to flee 7 different ways. Malcolm came out, they assassinated him. Martin came out, they killed him. And when the Civil Rights Movement was over, guess what? You had Black Lives Matter ran by gay black women. The black man that disappeared out of the home. You came out with the Civil Rights Movement. At the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement, the black man was in the home. Black women and black men and women were marrying at the highest rate in America. At the end of that movement, we got the highest rate of single motherhood in the history of mankind. Black people, Israelites. You see that? Let me get back over here to the scripture. Can you see that? Thou shalt go out one way against them, talking about your enemy, and flee 7 ways before them. You see, every time a brother stand up, march, and watch. You don't even raise up too hard unless a brother get killed or beat publicly. Then after a brother get killed, what do you say? Get beat down, can we all just get along? An Edomite kills a brother in his own apartment, and the Israelite judge come off the bench and hands her this criminal her Bible and gonna pray for her. She's not incensed that this is a international crime. This is not a war crime. You can just kill an Israelite anytime you get ready because you're not an Israelite. That's why war crimes are perpetrated against you. It's an act of war for another nation to kill or harm one of us. The United States thought it was an act of war that they bombed the Twin Towers. They thought that was an act of war, so much so they killed millions of innocent Middle Eastern men, women, and children. Had nothing to do with the Twin Towers. Killed them all. Killed them all. And because you won't hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, that's why you get killed. That's why they kill you and hold themselves not guilty. Let's see some more things. So you flee from 7 ways. They got you so scared now that the most you're going to do is pass out some food or something like that. You're not finna come against this government about nothing. About nothing. If they say that them Haitians down up under the bridge had to starve, y'all Christians didn't move, they had to starve. It was the ISUPK that went down there. And guess what? We're not lost on these sanctuary cities. We watching. We watching. We definitely watching. What's the next one? Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given, this is verse Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Whose sons and whose daughters? Listen. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What people in America has faced that as a people, their sons and daughters were taken from them and given or sold to other people? And you can bring that all the way up till the day. Somebody gonna pay for all our little Latina girls and boys being separated from their parents and never being reunited again. What the hell? Really? Y'all think this is 1822? That's some 1822 stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? Take the kids and put them in cages. That sounds like some alligator bait shit to me right there. You see that? That sounds like some alligator bait stuff to me. But keep reading. How much time we got? We're going to keep reading. And the Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation that neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. In America, the wooden god in America is the Christian cross. Shalom, how about Shema Shabbat? Okay, Khan, I'll be there shortly. Is the wooden cross. The God of stone is the cobblestone the Muslims go to Mecca to do whatever they do with. And they both are the same. These are other gods that you have no business fooling with. According to the Bible, you got no business in a Christian church. According to the Bible, you got no business bowing down to anything Christians say do or doing anything Christians say do, because Christians tell you to do everything that is against the Bible. You are so lost. Think about this. You are so in hell that you read a book that tells you don't go into this particular religion or this particular people way of doing things. Christians, don't do it. Don't do it. They tell you don't, and you do it anyway. And you can't even explain to me why you do it. I haven't heard a logical explanation yet that once the Bible is open to a Christian or a Muslim, why they continue to go after what the Bible has proven to be false. Just want you to know that when you do this, it's not the priests and prophets in the ISUPK that you're showing your disdain for, that you're showing your hate for. It's the word of the Most High that you show your hate for. It's the Most High himself that you show your hate for. Look around, black man and woman, Mexican man and woman. The reason you're in the condition you're in is because you have turned your back on the Most High. How have you done that? You call yourself Christians. You call yourself Catholics. You call yourselves apostolic. You call yourselves Pentecostal. You call yourselves everything except for Yasharallah. Why? Because if you call yourself Yasharallah, then you have to act like Yasharallah. You cannot be claiming to be Israel and acting like and walking like and living like some goddamn heathen. Worshiping stars. Got a different God for every day of the week, a different God for every month of the year. Come on, man. Got more than one God. You got zodiac signs. You still do this garbage. You do this garbage. Who's keeping these churches open? Who's running up in them churches like that while they are getting killed? And the Most High showed you these churches ain't worth two dead flies. You ain't got no business up in them. Why? Because he keep letting you get killed in them. He keep letting your children get killed in them. Nobody messing with the priests and prophets of the Most High. Well, because we tough? No, because the Most High protects us. You see that? The Most High protects us. But in your churches, notice now, this don't happen too often in all white churches. You see that? Or mainly white churches. You don't get too much of this shooting going on, especially by white people. But they love coming to the black church and shooting it up. That's because that black church represents a false god. It represents you turning your back on the Most High power of Israel. That's what that Christian church represents. And it got you so brainwashed, so hoodwinked, so blinded, so destroyed, that even after you hear the truth, you go back to the same thing. And listen to this. And thou shalt become, verse 37, an astonishment, a proverb, a byword among all the nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Everybody talk about you, Israel. Let me ask you this. Go anywhere, I dare you, get everybody's attention and ask this question. Everybody here that are not so-called African Americans, so-called Native Americans, and so-called Mexican, and want to experience being Mexican in America, being Native American in America, being so-called African American in America, raise your hand. And I bet you, just like that old white woman that be on TV, on YouTube, you won't get anybody outside of us to raise their hand to say they want to be us. Nobody desires you. Nobody desires to be you. What they want you for is to eat off of you, Israel. Sister, let me tell you that straight up. While you think they're giving you this education and all of this stuff and pulling you up and all that because they love you, no. They've already figured out how they're going to eat off of you. And as long as they're in charge, it's always going to come back to you having the bare minimum while they live off the fat of the land. You see that? Look at Deuteronomy 28, verses 15 through 68. I'm going to get you one more. Deuteronomy 28, verse 43. The stranger that is within thee, that means in your neighborhood, shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Verse 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. You see that? I remember when Wright's Texaco was owned by Ted Wright out in Michigan. In Inkster. Out there on John Daly and Michigan Avenue next door to the Honda dealership. Ted Wright was a black man. I remember when Allen Supermarket was owned by Mr. and Mrs. Allen, lived on now Allen Street, which was a block over from where I grew up. Mr. and Mrs. Allen were black men. I remember when Curry's Party Store, it was really Big Curry's and Little Curry's. And I remember when Big Curry's built a new party store and expanded and built a new party store. They were black owned then. And Little Curry's was his mother's candy and cookie store. We bought our stuff from as little kids. None of that is in our neighborhood anymore. The stranger owns all of that in our neighborhood. He even got these little money lending places in our neighborhood. The Bible literally shows you who the Israelites are. And if you got just the common sense to open your eyes and see for yourself and understand, sure, you're going to experience some dissonance when the truth hits you, but let it go. Let all that shit you thought you knew, let it go. Let it go. See that? Let it go. And then you'll be all right. Then you come into this truth. You see. But because y'all love America so much, a lot of y'all going to have a problem letting it go. I pray the Most High change your mind. Because the way you're going, it's easy to see how 2/3 are not going to make it into the kingdom. It's plainly to see. But our prayer is that all of Israel be saved before Christ get back, before Yahushua comes back. Like I said, that was my last scripture. And with that, we want to say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Barakatham, and Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba'Hashem, Yahushua. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, way back in 1969. And today, under Commanding General Yohana, we go throughout the earth teaching the truth of the Bible, and that is black, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, or in fact, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Shalom, Israel.